basically saying all these merchants that involved in the slave trade found they played their part. Yeah, because all these merchants got down, the slave trade. That's why Britain was able to import all this goods, man. It's because of the slaves, man. Inherited privilege.
Yeah, that's a nice title. I like the title they put there. That's basically what it is.
Enslaved people on the plantations of the Americas made a large contribution to British prosperity.
Yeah, exactly.
You find it?
Slave-owning planters and merchants who dealt in slaves and slave produce were among the richest people in 18th century Britain. Profits from these activities helped to endow All Souls College, Oxford, with a splendid library, to build a score of banks, including Barclays.
So, brother, can I interject and say something on that? So even Oxford benefited on that. Like you got Oxford University, all of these big time posh universities, they benefited again of the backs of the slaves. Okay, and then so that pretty much the people that's in like an upper class, they can go to these schools and learn how to trade and to do other things which they don't teach the regular individuals in the public schools to do. Right? So when it comes to Britain as a whole, we really built everything. We built it every single thing. Yeah, he's a scoffer, right? Yeah, he probably knows about this, right? Sound like a scoffer to me though. But the thing about it is man, when you read the story of how what the slaves were going through in Great Britain, they had to work too. They had to work really hard just so they can supply the U.S. Because America, even still to this very day, America is a highly consume-based country. So they were a highly consume-based country back then because of the amount of supplies that were given to them by the slaves that were in Britain. Okay, and we did all of this hard work to cover Britain up and to build it up, but what did we get back in return? Nothing. Okay, so this is why one has to go into. This is why one, such as ourselves, has to deal with the whole story of slavery. We have to go into this storyline. All right, this is story. Go on, brother.
This is Haggai 1:5, and it says, "Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways." The 6 says, "Ye have sown much and bring in little. He ate, but he had."
That's the one I wanted. Come on, there you go.
He ate, but he have not enough.
Yeah, read that verse again all over again.
It's Haggai 1:5, and it says, "Now therefore, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little."
Right, and that's just what the brother was reading there. Okay, he was doing a lot of mining, he was doing a lot of work, a lot of laborious work, but out of all of the laborious work he was doing, he got hardly anything back in return. And it's still like that to this very day, because you still got Jake working these bullshit ass jobs and they ain't getting really paid anything, can't cover the rent, it can't cover other bills. So by the time he gets done working, he's in debt already. He's already in debt. And that's how they did us back then, around the 19th century, 1830s to even to the 18th century. Okay, the 1700s. Okay, they were working Jake tooth and nail. Okay, they would work. I mean, Jake had to be working literally, like he had to be literally laboring. Our people was laboring to apprehend Britain and to keep the economy going, because that's what keeps the country economy in a movement is the amount of workers and how much work they can put in. That's how you build a great economy. Is how the way you build a great economy is by getting a bunch of slaves to work the economy and to keep the whole entire country going and building up. And that's why the economy was booming in Britain, because they took us from wherever they took us from, could have been West Africa. It could have been Spain or Europe, because we even had certain Negroes that was in Spain as well. All right, and some of them were probably taken from Spain to go to the other side of the world.
I got more still.
Okay, you got some more, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Went to another arm.
Yeah, back to finish.
Back to Haggai 1 and 6.
Yep.
It says, "He has sown much and bringing little."
Right, we were sown much and we were given very little. And that's what was going on at the time, because you can imagine what the slaves was getting in return when they did all of that laborious work and all of that mining in the 19th century in Britain. They didn't get nothing in return. They were probably living in ghettos back then, probably working their asses off because they had to take care of their families and stuff like that, and they had no choice but to work to death. Okay, to keep other people satisfied in other countries such as America, because America even back then was a great consumeristic country. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what was going down, man. Jake didn't really get too much back in return.
You eat, but you have not enough.
Right, you eat, but you have not enough, and that still happens today. Okay, that still goes on today. Like, you know, brothers may work, and brothers is getting paid on the monthly instead of the weekly. So you work, so you're doing all of this work, right? And then you gotta pay the rent, you gotta pay the bills, and before you know it, when you add all of this shit up, you're in debt already. Okay, and then you got these Edomites, these devils. They get to have their little jobs or whatever, and they're covered. They're sorted out. They don't gotta be walking to and fro looking for a job. They're already sorted. You understand what I'm saying? And the reason why they're sorted is because of what they did unto our people, because of the backs of the slaves. That's why Britain, and this is why I'm gonna keep saying this, and we're gonna keep saying this. That's why Britain is called Great Britain today, because of the backs of the slaves. Okay, so keep reading that.
He drank, but he had no filled with drink. He clothed you, but there is none warm.
Yeah.
And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
Right. So although we're doing all of this work and we're doing the best that we can, but at the same time we're still not satisfied with what we're working for. And this is why brothers like ourselves that are highly educated, all right, and I don't say that to be boastful, but we say that because it's the truth. That's why we can also say that slavery never ended. Slavery is still going on today. Because when you check Jake out, where Jake is at economically, our people, they gotta work these bullshit ass jobs, right? And then go back to the same devil and buy his goods, and then go back to work all over again, and then pay the devil his rent and the tax. All right, so that's all I'm gonna say on that. You done with that, yeah? All right, let him read this.
Let me just read this little quick thing first. It says,
no, go on, you got it.
the forced flow of so listen up, it said the forced flow of people and material from Africa resulted in great wealth in Europe. Alright? So the forced flow of people and material, because it was forced. We didn't agree to it. It says the profits gained from the transatlantic slave trade, and then later from the exploitation of Africa by taking direct control over the land, colonialism, were used to develop the West.
Yeah.
Okay? So it says, we go down now, I say this. Royal Africa Company monopoly, because there was an actual company that Britain had that they're the ones that specialized in getting the slaves from Africa. It's called the Royal Africa Company. At the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade era, the British government did not allow rich individuals to try to make profits from the trade. The only company that transported enslaved people was the British government's own. It was called the Royal Africa Company.
And you know why that is? You know why that is? It's because so-called Jews, again, were involved in this. And that's how the so-called Jews work. If I may interject, brother. And that's how the so-called Jewish people work. When they have a corporation, they don't want you coming inside of their corporation or working with them. If you're not a part of their foundation, you're gonna get kicked out. Because they only wanna have the benefits for themselves. Okay? So that's why that was going down.
So basically, it says it was that company was established in 1672. This rail company transported an average of 5,000 enslaved Africans. It says Africans, but they're not Israelites. Enslaved Israelites a year between 1680 and 1686. So 5,000 times 6. 5 times 6 is what? 30. So basically, 30,000 they had in 6 years. For people.
Just working non-stop.
Then in 1698, the law changed. It became legal for other British merchants to trade enslaved Africans as a fundamental and natural right. The number of enslaved Israelites transported increased dramatically from 1698. One port, Bristol, shipped 160,950 Israelites from 1698 to 1707.
And if I may interject, and the reason why they legalized slavery, the reason why they legalized it in that sort, because everybody was getting in on it. All of the different provinces of Britain was getting in on it. So the more people get in on the slave trade business, the more money they would lose in this business. And that's really the real reason why slavery so-called ended in 1854, because everybody was getting involved in it. So the so-called Jews, they wanted to receive all of the benefits rather than the competition, because the more competition you got, the more problems and the less money. So that's why they legalized the slavery. All right, it wasn't because they felt sorry for us and we got to end slavery because it's inhumane. No, because they was losing a lot of money and people were getting involved in this business. It was big business. It was big business.
That's how they look at us. Even to this day, don't think that these other nations have a love.
Nah, they don't like you, man.
Passion to us, man. They don't. The same way they looked at us back then, the same way they look at us now. They just look at us as something to exploit. These other nations have been exploiting us, man. Okay? And it's always been that way.
That's right. That's right.
Okay? That's why when we get our hands on these motherfuckers in the kingdom, it's gonna be carnage, man. It's gonna be complete carnage. We're gonna do this is what's gonna happen to them on a bigger boat. I'm reading it right now. I'm reading what? I read 160,950 Israelites from 1698 to 1707. That's small compared to what we're going to do to them. We're going to have them buy thousands of millions of slaves, man. Millions. Not just of Edomites, but of Elam.
No, that's what I'm thinking, bro.
You got to expand this. So they're going to, the same way they had us cultivating the whole of acres, thousands of acres. They're gonna be cultivating countries, man. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put them in different places and cultivate whole entire continents, man. We're gonna enslave them on a massive scale, man.
And they're gonna be doing it for hours too.
Massive. There's not gonna be fields they're gonna be cultivating. They're gonna be building structures, houses. They're gonna be building up a kingdom.
That's
an
right,
actual kingdom, man.
That's right.
Not just fields. So we can get resources like tobacco. They're going to be doing that for us. They're going to be picking cotton. They're going to be bringing in the sugar and the tobacco and the different, supplying. Supplying. We're going to have them. We're going to be selling them. Everything we're reading about, that's their future. So it's that's something.
Go on, bro. During Solomon's time, it took about 14 years to build the temple. But this time, the amount of slaves that we're going to have it's not going to take that long to build the kingdom.
That's true.
It's not going to take that long to build the kingdom. Everybody on everyone's going to be working.
You got to hurry up too.
The whole 14 years just for one building. It's not going to be that way. We're going to build the whole kingdom quick as well, man. So there'll be no laziness.
No laziness, man. And then they're going to be working 18-hour shifts, man.
No, 24. They're going to be working 24 hours.
Exactly. But they go stay up while they're going to be bad in the morning. They're in the flesh.
Because I want my house. I want my house. I want my palace to be built. So they better build that in due time.
You know what I'm saying? Woman, we're going to talk about woman equality. Okay, cool. The woman in the first. She's going to be working. That's so you can be know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Have you know what the focus is?
And you know me, man. I'm not too much of a patient person, man. So they gonna have to build my palace for me. You know what I'm saying?
Huh?
It's freezing. I'm wearing a jacket.
Yeah, I know. Just for some attention.
Yeah, it's cold. It's cold.
It's right down. It says this. In 1760, 146 slave ships with a capacity for 336,000 enslaved people sailed from British ports. So that's 146 slave ships. God damn, so
Yeah, that's
that
a lot of
was
slave ships, yeah.
business, man. Imagine 146 slave ships. Yeah. Big ships, man. Big ships that have names with one little boat. Talking about big ships.
Major ships, yeah.
146 of them.
Yeah.
Just for us, man. Just to get, just to pack them full of us, man.
Yeah.
God damn. So the intention was we need to get them slaves, boy, and to make money.
Yeah.
Because remember, there was a money making franchise.
It was booming. It was a booming business, yeah.
That's why they became great. Because during that time, 1700s,
Yeah.
that's the pinnacle of their supremacy.
There you go, brother. There you go.
So obviously the pinnacle of their supremacy was on and now bringing us down, man.
Yeah,
Bringing
putting us-
Jacob
right.
down.
Yeah. Putting them into them ships. That's right.
Okay, so when you read them curses, that's basically going into it. That's basically the pinnacle of the curses, man. The curses, the major curses came. Why do you think that's the last of the curses, man? Right? The slave ship. That's verse 68. That's the last one.
Not only is it the last one, but it was a major one.
It was the biggest one.
Yeah.
That was a turning point in history.
There you go.
That's marked. That's a permanent stain on them, man.
Yeah.
Whenever all nations think about black people got fucked up, the first thing they think is verse 68, man.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest one. That's the one that all people are reminded of, man.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's just the whole thing, because you gotta understand, man. Like, you know, a lot of money was what's the word I'm looking for, man? Right. A lot of money was accumulated in around the 18th century, the 17th century. And the reason why they had so much ships is because, like you were saying, brother, they had to keep that money going, because they were making loads and loads of money, cash flow. So they had to keep it moving, they had to keep it going. But the point of the matter is, as I'm going to keep on saying, that's what made Britain powerful and great, because of the slaves.
Listen to this.
Go on, brother.
It says, so that was then, right? That was from 1760, right? 146 slaves. That's basically the mid. Approaching the late 1700s.
Keep going. Yep.
Yeah. And then it says, while in 1771, that number had increased to 190 ships.
That's how they had to stop.
With a capacity for 47,000 enslaved Israelites. So, yeah. So it goes on. It's a big up. I don't know. It goes on, man. You know. So basically, the end game is that Britain, the reason why the economy is so great and people come to Britain,
yeah.
You know, like Britain is Egypt, man. Like the Egyptian capital, like USA capital.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know the great what's this word? Metropolis cities where you see all kinds of people. You know what I'm saying? The busiest road in the world is Oxford Street. Just up there.
In the road.
Yeah, the busiest road, the busiest street on the planet is Oxford Street. Wow. Yeah. Busiest. Okay. But it's because of us. All of this business and cash flow and you know, commercial and media, and all of it is come from us, our laboring.
Yeah.
Okay, benefited to their wealth, man, their estate, their condition.
Yeah.
Okay, their respected establishment is because of us. Like Egypt became great because of us. Okay, you had and not only did we physically help for the prosperity that was over here. Okay, we also had major influences, man. The singing, the dancing. Okay, the vibe that Jake's brought to the athletics, you know, we're also stars in those regions, man. Yeah. So that's what he said, we're the form of all things. Yeah. Even though we were enslaved, we benefited these other nations, man.
That's right, man.
Okay.
Hello. What are you doing?
So we're talking about the transatlantic slave trade, something that happened centuries ago, but it's still having an effect on our people today.
Yeah, talking about how the British economy is slavery. All the major banks go to Barclays, Santander. All these banks was founded off of us, basically.
And that's why Britain became so great as it is today.
It was serious. It was a very serious money-making thing for Esau. To the point where they stopped seeing it as these are human lives. We can't do this to people. They said, no, this is money. You gotta keep doing it.
It's not like in the past it happened because in Africa, the person first is taking resources from the French colonies like Congo, and everything else. People are dying, but they're not just scared because they are benefit from it. They even give gun to the people to fight among themselves. Yeah. So it's fine, but what because people are so divided.
Yeah, but that's the whole point of why we're here. What we're here is trying to say, listen, because we believe in the Bible.
Yeah.
We are the people of the Bible. We are the Israelites. We are the Jews. We're Judah.
Oh, this is my country.
What's that?
Haiti.
So you're Levi. Okay, you're Levi.
I'm a leader.
Yeah, Lorraine Hill.
Oh, yeah, Lauren Hill. Yeah, Levi. Oh, so you're from Haiti. Okay, cool.
So the whole thing is we're trying to tell our people that, listen, there's going to be a salvation, a deliverance according to the Bible. And that deliverance, the only people that's going to be delivered are a certain number from the 12 tribes of our people, the Israelites. You understand? So there's going to be another kingdom on this earth. On this earth. Do you believe that? You understand that?
Yeah, I mean, I go to church.
Yeah, but they don't teach you the truth in the church.
But can I say one thing, brother?
The church is not, they're getting the white supremacy.
But bro, can I say one thing? You know, the Haitians, right?
Yeah.
I think his name's Lopez or something like that. What's his name? And some French guy, some French black leader, the Haiti. Toussaint Lopez, right?
Yeah, he lead the independence.
Yeah, he led the independence and all of that. And that's why Haiti is the most poorest country in the Western Hemisphere because of what the Haitians
Yeah, we were the
did.
first blind nation.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that all of that happened to our people. Esau, the so-called white man, he's still gonna receive judgment because you asked, what are you gonna do about it? But it's not what we're gonna do about it. The Most High's gonna pay Esau what he did to us. So it may seem like he's getting off scot-free and he's getting away with what he did, but he's really not. All of the sins that he's done is increasing. So when that time comes, the Lord will then begin to judge him. That's why we're here.
So thank you for the chat.
All right.
And see you after.
You know, I just wanted to say that, brother, because basically that's how people think. They think, okay, well, Esau did all of this madness, so that's life, so life gotta go on. No. And that's why we're set up on the streets, because we're out here to proclaim the truth and bring out the scriptures and bring out the judgment for whatever person did or nation, whatever a nation did. Okay, and that judgment is going to come in effect. But yeah, just real quick, brother, I just want to do a quick precept out and I'm going to let you continue on. What did you have?
See the famous words.
It's good. It's good.
All these banks, man, couldn't be all of them, man.
Yeah, they make loads of money, man. You just going to get something. Fucking whack.
For a foot in there or something, sideways, 60 turns, stopping and everything, man. Daily, 18-hour shifts, man. Of course,
Let me see something real quick, man. Yeah, because there's a scripture. Yeah, I mean, there's so many scriptures we can get on this, man. Get Ezekiel 25. Ezekiel 25. Yeah, I think it's 14, right?
So Ezekiel 25 and 14, and it says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger.
Right, because what did Edom do? Again, this is referring to the so-called white man. What did he do on the earth? I mean, yeah, he fucked our people up, and we're still fucked up to this very day, but what has he done to the earth as well? He's destroyed the earth as well. So what's going to be the payment? You know.
And they shall do in Edom according to my anger.
Right, and the Lord said it himself, I will destroy those which have destroyed the earth. And brother, you better sit down on that too. Go on, brother.
And according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, save Yahweh power.
And these Edomites, they go know the Lord's vengeance, save Yahweh. Go on, brother. Yeah, so that's the whole thing. So I mean, you know, these so-called Europeans, the reason why they're prospering and they're doing good is because again, it goes back to the slaves. Okay, and that's why you have the term called old money, and that's why these bankers, these major billionaire corporate bankers, okay, they made a killing. They made a killing of having our people doing the work and trying to build up their banks. So Great Britain financially was set up because of our people, the backs and the sweat and tears of our people. Okay, economically, naval-y, and also financially. All right, brother, you got it. You know, and no, I do it. So that's just the whole thing. So are you familiar with the Bible or anything like that? Do you know who you are according to the Bible?
I'm very familiar with the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah, because they're all in America, aren't they? Yeah. Yeah. So you already know.
Well, maybe.
Right. So you are okay. Well.
We're filming this.
Yeah, obviously we're filming it. But the thing about it is what you gotta understand is that, and I'm pretty sure you're aware of it already.
What are you guys here talking about?
We're talking about what your forefathers done to my forefathers. So get the Isaiah 42.
Fair enough.
And matter of fact, hold that. This Revelation 13, 9, and 10. Because you have to understand, right? Because it seems like you guys have gotten away from a lot of dirt that you've done on the earth. Because I mean, we could talk about slavery and everything like that, but we also got to talk about what other things have y'all brought to the planet. You destroyed the planet. I'm not saying you per se, but I'm just speaking in general. Okay, you manipulated the food in the stores that we have to eat, polluted the air, destroyed everything. So what's going to be the repercussions of that? Because it seemed like you've gotten them scot-free and you can do whatever you want to do now. But that's not the case.
So Revelation 8, Revelation 13 and 9, and it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear.
Yeah.
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
Right, it says he that leadeth in the captivity shall go into captivity.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword. Because what happened was what your people did, right? Because what we gotta do, we gotta do this in order. Now what you guys did, right, as the Spaniards, what you lots did is you lots destroyed the people of Ghana, the North American Indians, okay, and all of the South Central American people. So you went over to their land, you stole their silver and their gold and their iron and all of that stuff and named the land of it. Do you know that the name Brazil means iron? Because they was, yeah, from the Hebrew word it means iron because they were stealing iron from the people down there. Argentina means silver because they were stealing silver down there and hoarding up those substances.
What do you want to achieve?
So, well, our achievement is to open up the book of judgment and to reveal to you what's going to happen before you reach God's times. When the kingdom of heaven is set up.
Acknowledge what we've done and we'd like to try and change and make reparations?
Well, okay, well, that's a good question. The way things will be changed is that the people that were destroyed, that were afflicted by your people, we're going to have to get justice. Huh?
The concept of love.
Well, you want to speak about it's still love.
No, I wanted to deal with the concept of forgiveness, which is the truest expression of love.
But you know what forgiveness is?
When you
Yes.
he's getting something.
Okay.
I'm just interested because you have a clear message. I want to know what you want to achieve from the message.
No, the achievement because the Bible says love worketh no ill to his neighbor. So right now you're telling me about love, but 3 centuries ago you.
I haven't told you about love. I said I'd like to talk about it.
Right, I understand that. I understand that. But what I'm saying is you're saying something referring to love or saying the term love. But back then, 3 centuries ago, people being rich, people being forced to work.
Actually, maybe about 40, 60 years ago.
That's Hebrews 12. and 16, and it says, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, for one master of